Okay, just I'm sharing my desktop. 1 second. Okay. So one thing is nothing but why I'm taking all the currencies in a very detailed way, because of one is for the point number one. It's very important for your certification. Very important for your certification. So we can't expect now the certification pattern has been completely changed from before and after now. So when you come to the practice, actually do one thing like this. Okay, so when you come to the financial accounting, global settings, ledgers, and when you come to a ledger, so here we no need to do any kind of practice, but only one thing is nothing but we have to know about each and every currency type which is going to be available in SAP. Yes. So here we are not defining any new currency until or unless it is going to be required. See, for example, in such a case, okay, my client is required a new currency type, which I want to customize the new currency type for my internal reporting purpose. So I'll go to a new entry and I'll give any two alphanumerical value, for example, Z1. This is for my, okay, the description which I'm going to be giving is for the, okay, so for the profit center reporting, for the profit center reporting. So I'll give here PCR for the profit center reporting. Now this is the new currency type. Actually, this is the new currency type which I'm going to be defining for only for my profit center reporting purpose. Now here, as I told you yesterday, we discussed about the concept of what is a global and what is a company code, and we have discussed about the global settings. If we are setting this currency type as a global, then this is going to be addressed for all the company codes. Means global is not specifically for one company code. So here I'm creating a new company code only for the profit center reporting. This currency is not available in the standard SAP, but I'm creating for my own internal reporting purpose, which I will assign to my company code afterwards, because I'm just selecting it as the company code specific. So like this, you can create a new company code. Once you created the new company code, so what I'll do here, okay, so yesterday we discussed about what is the global currency types and everything. Now today I'll discuss about the currency conversion. So in this global currency conversion, I'll tell you, go for the new entry. Let us assume that now you have created a new currency type which is a global. Okay, now I'm putting it as a global. Example, I'm taking the C1. This is for the consolidation unit currency for the group valuation. Okay, so I'm taking it as a global. Now I'm saving it. So I save the data. Now, okay, I save the data. Now the C1 is going to be used for the group valuation. Okay, this is for the global. Okay, now I'll go back and I'll double click on global currency conversion, because I stated it as a global. So what I will do, I'll double click on the global currency conversion setting. Now I'll go to a new entry. Why? Because my currency type is a global. Now I need to define the source currency for the global one. I'll go to a new entry. So which currency it is? C1. See, C1 has come in the global now. See, C1 has come in the global. Why? Because earlier it was company code specific. If I select it as a company code specific, for example, if I select it as a company code specific, now I'm changing the settings from the global to company code specific. It is only for the specific company code, not for all the company codes. Example, now I stated as a company code. Now again, I'll go to the global. Now if I see, it should not show in the global now. See, where is the C1? Now the C1 is not displaying in the global. Why? Because it is a company code specific. Where is the company code specific? Here. Excuse me. So here, when you come to the currency conversion settings for the company code, I'm extending, sir. 1 second, sir. So excuse me. Now I'm coming to the company code conversion settings for a company codes. So which are all the currency types? Which falls under the company code specific? Means it is not a global. It is only for the specific company code this currency has been defined, or it is going to be done the setting. Now I need to come to the currency conversion settings for the company code. So here, if you see very carefully, I have the option called as the company code. Why? Because this is specifically for the company code only, not for any other currency. This is specifically for company code only. Now, I'll go to a new entry. I'll go to a new entry. Now, which company code? My company code is the 1710 is nothing but my company code. Now, which currency type you have to maintain here? Okay, so here it is asking for the currency type. This is what exactly we call it as the currency type. Now, which are all the currency types which we set as a company code specific in this currency type? All these currency types will be displayed here, not a global one. Not a global one. Here you can see here. Now the C1 we have set it as a company code specific. Now it is coming as here. Now what I will do here? Okay, I'll take one. Okay, I'll take one default one. Okay, so for example, I'll take a 30. Okay, now 30 is a company code specific. Which currency? So in my case here, I don't want to define any currency type for my 30. It can be euro, it can be USD or anything. Okay, for my example. So what I will do here, which source currency? Source currency, always please make it sure that the source currency should be 00 or the source currency should be 10. Please make a note of this. This is a certification question. The source currency can be 00, which we call as a document currency or a transaction currency, or the source currency you can take it as a 10. Why? I'll tell you the reason. Now, I'll tell you a reason now. Okay, now here, if we come here, I selected 30 or I'll select C1. Example, I'll select a C1 only because it will be very easy for you to understand. I selected a C1. C1 is for the company code specific. Now, if I give the currency here, which currency the C1 you are going to be assigning? For example, I'm taking a euro. I'm taking a euro, but my company code currency is USD. If I go to my company code, if I go to my company code, if I go to financial accounting, if I see the global parameters, okay, so if I see the global parameters, okay, global parameters for the company code, enter the global parameters. Now, if I go to my company code, where is my company code? 1710 is nothing but my company code. If I see here, which currency is my global, my local currency? USD. USD is always called as your local currency. All the currency conversions will be happen based on the USD only, which we call it as a currency type 10. Very, very important. Once again, I'm telling you. All the currency conversion settings, which are whatever the foreign currencies you're posting to the company code 1710. Whatever the foreign currency postings you are making to the company code 1710, all the currency conversions will be happen based on the local currency. Here, the local currency is a USD, which we call it as a currency type 10 for the company code 1710. So in this case, I have taken the foreign currency as a euro, which I am assigning to the C1 for my company code 1710. So the C1 is assigned to the euro, but I want to see all the translations should be happen based on my local currency type only for the company code 1710. Very, very important. No, Mahesh, do one thing. Don't assign anything over here. Leave it as an empty because C1 I can be using for euro, INR, JPP, AUD, anything. I can have anything over here. So do one thing, Mahesh. Don't give any currency. Leave it as an empty and make my source currency as a 10. Is it possible? Yes. Then you can if you are giving currency here, then it is restricted only for one currency. If you are giving the currency means it is restricted for only for one currency for the C1. If you are not providing anything over here, if you are leaving this field empty, means all currencies are permitted. All currencies are permitted and the translations will be happen based on which currency type. The translations will be happen based on the local currency 10 because local currency is my reporting currency always. Now here, as yesterday we discussed that, so here I'm taking the bank average, okay, And here I'm taking the translation type as a posting date or anything, document date or anything here, and the real-time conversion setting is going to be happened over here. If you see here, the real-time conversion that yesterday I told that no need to do any kind of foreign currency revaluations in the month end. No need to post any kind of inception posting before. So it will be precise postings are going to be happen for the foreign currency. Yesterday we discussed that. So this is the setting I am going to be making if it is a company code specific. Now you understand what is the global and what is the company code here. Is it clear now? All of you? Any doubts? So I can save here. So I can save here. Now I'm saving here because this is now which is coming now. The field has left as an empty. Now here, if I come here, okay, so here you can see there will be only two currency types. One is the 00 document currency. Another one is the company code currency. So the valuation every time in SAP, okay, whenever you want to have any local reportings, okay, based on the conversion factor other than the local currency, then you have to take as a 10. 10 is nothing but your company code currency. Always your reports are going to be prepared based on the company code currency only. So this is nothing but we call it as a currency type settings in SAP S/4HANA. Now earlier and today there is a lot of differences there. Earlier and today we have a lot of difference over here. So these all are going to be called as the currency types. Anyone has any doubts here, please? Yes or no? Friends?
I might have tomorrow, but not today because I still have to review yesterday's class.
Okay. Okay. So just complete the practice. Okay, make yourself to be very clear. Okay, create a new currency type by going for the new entry as I discussed that. So make it as one currency as a global, make it as a one currency type. So for example, if I'm creating a new currency type, one is Z1, another one is the Z2, for example. So I'm going to be giving one is for the profit center valuation, another one is for the consolidation purpose. I'll give one currency type as a global, one currency type as the company code specific. And just make the settings. Okay, so if it is a global, then you need to do the settings at the global level. If it is a company code specific, you need to do the currency settings at the company code level here. So these are the very, very important actually. So in SAP S/4HANA, so what is happening here now, we are bringing, this is what exactly we call it as the central currency configuration now today. So earlier it was completely different in SAP ECC. In SAP ECC, what is happening? The currency types are not defined over here like this. This is a new enhancement in SAP S/4HANA. Now, yes. Now I need to come to the concept called as the ledgers. Very, very important. So what is a ledger? First of all, I need to understand the concept of ledger. What is a ledger? So if you take a financial module, if I take a financial module, this is my financial module, complete financial module. So finance is nothing but the central heart of total accounting system. We call it as a GL. GL is the central tenet of total accounting system, my dear friends. We call it as a GL, general ledger. So what is a ledger? A ledger is, okay, very, very important here. Okay, so all the transactions you're making in SAP, which will be impacting to the financial accounting. Any transactions, okay, if the transactions are getting posted in sales and distribution, if the transactions are getting posted in production planning, if the transactions are getting posted in human resource, HR, if the transactions are posting in anywhere, material management. is nothing but the material management. We see a lot of financial transactions, the day-to-day transactions are getting posted in SD. For example, if I come to the SD, okay, we are posting some billing documents. Billing is nothing but an invoice. Okay, we are raising a sales order and we are posting some billing documents. So who will be posting the billing documents? The sales and distribution consultants. Actually, those people are called as SD consultants. So They're posting a billing documents against to the sales order. With the reference of the sales order, they're posting some billing documents. So what is an accounting entry? The accounting entry look like this. So when it is impacting to my account, see, customer account is getting debited and my revenue account, anything, okay, revenue or expenses account, my revenue account is getting credited. This is an accounting entry actually. So this is not manually posted in my GL. No manual postings are allowed for the GL. So this has to be automated, means it has to be get integrated from the sales and distribution to my GL. What happens if there is no financial accounting entry is getting replicated? For example, okay, I'm doing a billing document in SD, but there is no accounting document generated. There is no accounting document generated, means your GL is not updated with this accounting document. Because your GL, we are going to be calling it as the central tenant of total accounting system. All the postings are getting accumulated. All the postings are getting reconciled to your general ledger accounting. If any financial postings are happening in PP, any module, if any postings are happening, so finally it has to get reconciled. Automatically it has to get reconciled to my general ledger. So all the automatic posting should be get accumulated and get reconciled to my general ledger. This is what exactly my general ledger. So what happens if there is no general ledger? Means there is no financial model. Complete, very single answer. What happens if there is no general ledger? A ledger is the complete. A ledger is nothing but which contains the list of all the financial transactions. A ledger contains the list of all the financial transactions which are getting accumulated for the financial reporting purpose during the month end and during the year end closing activities. Very, very important. So that is the reason we are maintaining the general ledger. If there is no GL, there is no finance. If there is no GL, there is no finance. So what happens? So how I should get the data? So GL, we are going to be calling it at the central heart of total accounting system. So whatever the financial transactions you're posting, a day-to-day transactions in sales and distribution or in the production planning or in the middle management or in HR, in any module, where the accountings are going to be updated, those accounting transactions has to be reconciled to my general ledger at the day end. Nothing to be considered. So at any time, I should see the financial transactions has to be get updated to my general ledger. Why? Because these financial transactions are going to be prepared for the P&L account and balance sheet. If there are no financial accounting transactions are getting reconciled to my general ledger, I cannot have my external reporting purpose. So that is the reason GL is the central heart of total accounting system. So we call it as a ledger. We call it as a ledger. So there are two ledgers are there. One, we can call it as the main ledger. One is called as the main ledger. The main ledger is always called as a GL. Main ledger. Another one is going to be called as the sub ledger. I'll tell you what is the sub ledger. So before we discuss about the main detailed about all this, now I need to come to the general ledger. So now if I take a company code, US 10, US 10 is nothing but my company code. US 10 is nothing but my company code. Now, here my local currency is always USD. So what is the reporting system you are going to be using for USD? What is the reporting system? I'm using IFRS reporting. IFRS reporting is the main, very, very important. There are every country, if you go to every country, there will be one standard reporting system will be there. For example, if I go to UK, so they have their own local GAAP reporting. For US, I have the IFRS. If we come to other countries like India, we have the Ind AS as a reporting system. So various reporting systems are going to be maintained based on the country level. Now, when I come to US, all my reports are going to be standardized based on the IFRS reporting system. Based on the IFRS. Very, very important. So what I have to do here? If I want to address this, my reporting system in my SAP. So what I'm going to do here, I'm creating one ledger now. Very, very important. I'm creating one ledger in my GL. Okay. So I'm creating one ledger. So that ledger is always called as my leading ledger. Very, very important. In SAP, the standard ledger, we have the SAP standard ledger, we call it as OL. OL is nothing but always we call it as a leading ledger. So if I want to address my IFRS as a local reporting system, so first I need to create one ledger. There are two types of ledgers are there. One is going to be called as leading ledger. And the second one, we call it as a non-leading ledger. Second one, we call it as a non-leading ledger. Very, very important. So one, we can call it as a leading ledger. So now in my example, my leading ledger is always called as my OL. OL is the standard SAP. OL is the standard SAP leading ledger for all the company codes in SAP. No need to create any new ledger. SAP is always providing you one ledger which is called as the leading ledger, where this ledger I am using for the IFRS reporting for my local company code, which is going to be called as my US 10 company code. Yes, all my standards, all my accounting standards are reported based on the IFRS reporting only now. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm creating one ledger which is called as my leading ledger. This leading ledger, what I'm going to do here is nothing but I'm assigning to my company code. To which company code you're assigning? I'm assigning to my company code which is called as US 10. US 10, very, very important. US 10. So this is what exactly. Now, when I go into the SAP, here we have the company code setting ledgers. We are coming to the ledgers. Now, one second. I'll tell you what is a non-leading ledger, and we have one more ledger also called as extension ledger. Okay, now this complete configuration I'm going to be doing in a one screen only. Now, if I come to the ledgers, now here you can see here, this is what exactly we call it as the leading ledger, because in SAP, there should be only one leading ledger for all the company codes. Very, very important topic, which is going to be called as my parent ledger, which I am going to be addressing my local reporting system. Either it is going to be IFRS or US GAAP or local GAAP or any other reporting. There are different types of reporting standards are there for each and every country level. Now for my US, I am going to be maintaining the leading ledger as a OL, not only for US, for any company. OL is nothing but which we call it as a leading ledger in SAP. No need to create a separate ledger. The same ledger, I can assign it to the multiple company codes. Very, very important. If I see this ledger OL, I have assigned to multiple company codes. For all the 31 company codes which we have in SAP, for all the 31 company codes, I see that the leading ledger is going to be the OL only. So the leading ledger is called as a parent ledger. For point number one, the leading ledger is going to be called as a parent ledger, where all the accounting standards are going to be maintained for the reporting purpose. So for each and every company code level, we have a different accounting standard. For example, for the 1710, I have a different accounting standard. For 1001 company code, I have a different accounting standard. So what I'm going to do, I'm creating only one leading ledger for all the company codes. So what is a ledger? A ledger is a setting where all the financial accounting transactions are getting accumulated for the reporting purpose. So in SAP, we have two types of ledgers. One is going to be calling it as the leading ledger. Another one is going to be called as the non-leading ledger. The leading ledger is always called as the parent ledger. Very, very important. The leading ledger is always called as the parent ledger. And for this ledger, we are going to be assigning the currency types. Now because till yesterday and today, from yesterday and today, we discussed only what are all the currency types, how to make the global currency type setting, how to make the currency settings for the company code level. But now for the company code and the ledger, now we are going to be assigning the currency types. Very, 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 very important over here. This is what exactly the main concentration. Okay, so now I'm taking, so very, very important, only one leading ledger should be defined. There should not be multiple leading ledgers. Means one company code cannot be assigned with multiple leading ledgers. One company code should be assigned with only one leading ledger. So that is the reason, if I select my leading ledger and if I go to my company code setting, if you see here, there will be no new entry. See here, there will be no new entry option here. Why? By default, I see that your leading ledger is getting assigned to all the company codes. Your leading ledger is getting assigned to all the company codes. Now, if I take my company code, and this leading ledger is used for which reporting, I can assign here what reporting purpose. So here, if I go to the new entry, I will assign IFRS. This is for mainly for IFRS reporting. So I'm going to, which is going to be called as International Financial Reporting Standard. So for my company, this is only for the specific company code, and this leading ledger I'm going to be using for the IFRS. Now I'll go back one step back. Again, I'm selecting the leading ledger. Now I'll go to another company code. For example, I'll go to another company code. For example, I'll go to this, Houston Oil Company. Okay. I'll go to another company code. So this company code belongs to different country. Okay. Now for this country, the leading ledger is going to be the same, but this is a different company code. Here I am assigning the local gap, LGAP. LGAP is nothing but my local gap. So this is mainly useful for my LGAP. So your leading ledger is going to be the same, but your accounting principles means your local accounting standards are going to be different. So this is my leading ledger, and we have several other ledgers are also there, but these all are going to be called as some other sub ledgers. We can call them either non-leading ledgers, or some are going to be called as extension ledgers, or some other going to be. So what is the purpose of each and every ledger, I'll discuss. Okay, but this is the main ledger we are going to be concentrating. So without this ledger, I don't have the GL. So once again, I'm repeating, OL is called as the leading ledger, which is also called as the parent ledger. All the local reporting standards are addressed with the local reporting based on the leading ledger. So this leading ledger will be only one in SAP, which can be assigned to all the company codes. By default, we can see it is going to be assigned to all the company codes. So without the leading ledger, no transactions will be posted in SAP. So this leading ledger we are assigning to the company code, and all the transactions are getting updated at the combination of ledger and the company codes, where we are going to be addressing for the reporting system. Is it clear to all of you now? Tomorrow, if I want to see any kind of reporting, now, for example, I'm coming and Rahul, do one thing. Go to the table SC16, and you told that okay, AC TOCA table is the table for all the actuals. Now, if I want to see what are all the postings have been posted, now here we have an option called as the ledger. Ledger is nothing but, so I want to see all the reportings based on my OL for which company code, for my 1710 company code. Now I can get the list of all the documents posted for the OL 2019, and I can see here, this is what exactly we called as the ledger specific. Now I given the OL 1710 2019. Now I'll see all the postings. There are different documents we can see here. It has got updated to your OL. So where all these documents are updated, all the documents are updated to my general ledger accounting for the ledger which is going to be called as my OL. So that is the reason general ledger accounting for the OL, we call it as the leading ledger OL. Okay. So as per the request of everybody, so what I'll do here, so I'll be stopping the class for here, and just enjoy your vacation for this today's night. Okay, so sorry for that. Okay, so I wish you a happy new year for all of you.
Question.
So,